Hey, welcome back. It's me, Brianca Jay, and you are here for another episode of Book Talk. Now, if it's your first time, I want to go ahead and welcome you to our beautiful space. All we do is talk about books and we keep it absolutely lit. We do literary reviews, recommendations, and analysis, so we get into the really nitty-gritty details. Today, it's a review. We're talking about How to Win Friends and Influence Others by Dale Carnegie, which is everybody's to-do book, except it rarely gets done. So I'm gonna briefly overview it, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you do, go ahead and subscribe and check up and stick around for the next time. Let me know if you enjoy these, or give me a thumbs down if you want me to try something else. Now let's get right into this video. So Dale Again, it is not a novel. It is not even your regular self-help book. This is more of a reference material. Again, it's not a novel. This is a reference book. It is a reference book to help. Dale Carnegie's book. So why should you read it? Well, he is one of those guys who happened to completely nail customer service. You may have heard of the Carnegie Institute or the Carnegie School, where all they do is teach you customer service skills, and that's named after him. The reason is because he was just that good at getting people to do exactly what he wanted them to do. Was he manipulative? Was he evil? Was he a magician? No. He literally honed his communication skills and mastered the art of working with others. And I can tell you, that's not easy. It's not easy. Even after you read the book, it's gonna take practice. So if you're like me and you really want to actually do this, I suggest not only I listen to the audio version, and it's like I still need to go and I had to replay it. So I would have really enjoyed written copy, but it is a free PDF. So I feel y'all that don't have it yet. There is a free PDF of the book that you can absolutely look at, print out, highlight up to your will. You can go to half price, get it for $2, highlight it, or you can check it out on Audible. Whichever way, you're gonna have to read this more than once, just to be completely honest. So get a pen ready and be prepared to really dig in if you really want to master this. And if you can, I can assure you, you're gonna make a ton of fucking money. Like it's no way you can't. So as a salesman, Dale Carnegie, he was like earning, let's see, I had to stop. So Dale Carnegie started as just a regular salesman. At the time, he was the leading salesman for the firm he worked for, and was averaging about $500 a day. Now, that's a lot of money. That's pretty good money, actually. So even Warren Buffett himself took this man's class when he was 20. So people really believe in these principles, and they think that he is smart and worth listening to. And so when people think that, it only makes me say, well shit, I have to figure it out too. So let's see, what does he teach us? He has 4 elements here. The fundamental techniques in handling other people, how to deal with other people. 6 ways to make people like you. How to win people to your way of thinking, and how to be a leader, how to change people. And so in each of these, he has another subset of principles. So for instance, when he says how to handle fundamental techniques of handling other people, he says, don't insult them, learn to appreciate them, make the conversation about them. I'm sorry, I want to kind of keep scrolling. Arouse another person in eager want, like make them desire something, try to sell them something, bring that out of them. And these are critical to just showing genuine interest, right? Like when you walk up to someone at a party, you don't just say, hey, how you doing? Or, hey, my name's Brianca and I'm a writer and I have, this X amount of money and I drive this car. And like at some point, you haven't asked me a question. You haven't asked about me. And I don't want to entertain this conversation. And so he tries to bring us back, take a step back from self and think of other first. And that's one of his first principles, which I think is brilliant. And then he talks about ways in which, we can win people over. And he just, honestly, the best thing he said was just avoid arguments. Like, if you can avoid arguments, that's how you win them. No one can win an argument because it literally means someone loses. So the best way to keep things good is to simply not have arguments in the first place. Always try to be empathetic, or always try to take a diplomatic approach to working your way out. And I thought that was one of the best principles he wrote, because I think sometimes even myself, I have a very competitive nature. And when I'm arguing, I've even noticed sometimes that in the argument, I'm really just trying to win and I'm not actually listening. And so just little reminders like that help us to be more cognitive people and really think about our relationships. Because in reality, we wouldn't read this if we just wanted to be right all the time. And that's important when working with people, to understand that when you're working with people, you're not doing so to be right. You're doing so because you love and care about those people. So that's going to be an interesting thing to think about when reading this book. It's not about winning people. It's not about doing things better than them. It's simply about being a better human being. And so I really liked it. I really enjoyed listening to it because it brought me back to some of the fundamental principles that I had in childhood. Some of the things that you're taught and you lose over time, or you become conditioned to think aren't that important, but they are. Like, for instance, maybe you don't think it's that important to genuinely listen to someone after you say, how are you? Like, you say, how are you? And you keep walking. But if you took a step to just like genuinely stop and listen and say, okay, I'm glad you shared that with me. Like, it may not feel like you did a lot, but it's those small steps, those small bricks that allow us to build on a better reputation and to step into our divine power. And you have to just take little by little every day. So even here, he has another principle: show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong. So he tells us, like, never tell someone they're wrong, even if you think they're wrong. Like, you just don't want to do it. You want to avoid those kind of conversations because it's negative. And if you tell someone they're wrong, they're immediately going to feel defensive and need to tell you they're right. So he has a quote here. It says, if you are going to prove anything, don't let anybody know it. Do it so subtly that no one will feel you are doing it, right? So you don't have to prove a point. You don't have to prove a point. And if you are going to prove a point, you can do so without being braggadocious or obnoxious. But the last thing you want to do is getting like a face off or a square off, letting someone know that, you think that they're wrong. Another one that he talks about is people's names. And I used to mess this one up so much, and now I am addicted to learning, knowing, and repeating your name and committing it to my memory bank, because people get so offended if you don't know their name. And it's like one of the quickest ways to end any business relationship before you even start. Just mess up their name and watch how quickly they're done with you. Trust me. So he says here, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. So you may see this in practice all the time and not think about it, but when you walk into your favorite store, they may say, hey Brianca, what do you want to eat today? And you feel happy because they knew your name and you love that store. Or, you go to your therapist and she says your name a lot. It's intentional to create relatability. So make sure you say people's names as often as you can without making it weird, because people enjoy hearing their name and they feel a greater connection to you when you say their name and you say it properly. So that is one of those things he talks about, and I can tell you from my own experience, it is really, really, really important. He even says the average person is more interested in his or her own name than all the other names on earth put together. So that goes to those people that like to name drop and they tell you how they met Drake and Beyonce and And the thing that they don't understand is what I really want to hear is my own name. So, yeah. Keep that in mind, guys, that you don't have to name drop a lot of people, just the right people. And the best person to name drop when you're talking to them is the person you're talking to. So keep that in mind. Another thing he says, okay, so yeah, those are the best ones to me. But there are chock full here. There are 30, so I can't go over all of them. Just kind of talking to people's interests and make other people feel important and show, be empathetic. Don't argue with people, things like that. And I think these things are not things that we don't know. I do think that most human beings are aware of these skills, but this is one of the few places where they're all placed in a single place, and it allows you to really dig back into some of your core values that you've lost or you stopped practicing with age. I personally think that is one of the best ways to really kind of recalibrate yourself. So especially if you're a person that struggles with anxiety, or if you're trying to grow a brand, or you're starting a business, or anything where you're going to have to really work with other people, I really highly recommend you read this work, because it's going to bring you back to those core values and let you put people before the machine, which is important. I know a lot of times we get caught up in the work and we forget that the people make the work go round. So just bringing us back to our core values, being nice, being kind, and working hard with others. This book is going to be the key to having successful relationships. So I really do recommend it, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoy it. Again, it is not a novel. It is not even your regular self-help book. This is more of a reference material. Again, it's not a novel. This is a reference book. It is a reference book to help you truly get what you need the easiest way with little resistance, and that's by working with others and being a good person.